Welcome to the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Hey everyone, welcome to Bold Book of the Day. My name is Dr. Denise Nicholson. This podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration. Today's episode is with Miss Laurie Bruton. Laurie is amazing, and I am so excited to have her here. She is one of the first books I've published, and it's exciting just to have her a part of this podcast. So let me tell you a little bit about Laurie, and she's going to tell you all the stuff about her. Laurie is an author, as I said. She's a speaker, a coach, and mother of two wonderful sons. She enjoys coffee, dark chocolate, writing, of course, music, movies, travel, and much, much more. She speaks life, love, and hope into others with inspiration and encouragement. She is the author of the book Whole to Whole, Journey to Hope and Transformation. And the Laurie Factor, of course, the Laurie Factor is a book I published. It's Live the Life You Were Born to Live. She's done multiple collaborations, including one that we're in with the Hunger for Hustle book. And she's just an incredible author. She's even written children's books. So, guys, you are getting to know a wonderful and talented human being, and she has so much more to offer. So let's give Laurie the mic and welcome to Bold Book of the Day. Laurie, how are you?
Thank you, Denise. Thanks for having me today. I am great and grateful. And as Denise said, I'm Laurie Bruton. You can think of it as brewing a ton of coffee. And as she said, I am author of The Laurie Factor, Live the Life You Were Born to Live. This book right here, published by Bold Publishing, forward written by Les Brown. So that
Yes.
is quite the honor. I'm very thankful for that. And I am also speaker, ghostwriter, and I did just publish a children's book for Grandparents' Day that's coming up September 10th about grandparents are grand. So that's exciting. And there was a time in my life that I stayed quiet and I felt invisible. And I thought my voice didn't matter. And then I realized I kept sabotaging myself and playing small. So that day was a defining moment when Les Brown interviewed me and asked me, "What's a moment in your life where after that nothing was ever the same?"
Mhm.
And then what I told him that day, it's like, did I say that out loud? It was like a
It
very
was a coming to Jesus moment.
Oh my gosh, it was an embarrassing moment. And yet there it was. So talk about being vulnerable and just putting it out there. And yet I knew my story wasn't just about me, but it was how it could
Yes.
help other people and give them
Yes.
hope. So Les, the master that he is, took my story, and that's how the Laurie Factor was born.
You heard that,
So
guys. She just said her story wasn't about her. It was about helping and serving other people. Yes, Laurie. Beautiful.
yes. And I was still like, oh my gosh, where do I go from here? But
Mm-hmm.
having that conversation with Les turned things around. It was a turning point in my life where it's like, wait a minute, my story matters. This message needs to be heard. It's going to help a lot of people. It's going to
Yes.
impact lives. It's going to save lives. Because there was a time where I almost wasn't alive to tell my story. So
Mm,
I know that there's proof that I'm here for a reason. We all are created to create, we're here for a purpose. And that's when I broke up with self sabotage. I embraced
broke
my
up.
identity. So, identity is key. And I stepped into my destiny.
How did you get there though? Because you had a rough cut. So how did you get through it? What did you do?
So when I was in that very dark place, almost gave up on my life,
Mm,
let go of Jesus, it's like, oh, this is not good. So,
you felt it.
yes. So then that's when there was just that glimmer of hope that I just felt like, get up. You have more to do. And
Yes.
that's where Les helped me see that Lori, my name, Lori, stood for specific points that brought me out of that dark place.
Hmm.
And L is have a larger vision of yourself beyond the
Yes.
circumstances. O, have an optimistic spirit that it's possible. And R, reinvent yourself, make a radical change. I is invest in yourself, bet on you. You are an asset to the planet. So that Lori that was in that dark place, she's dead. She's gone.
Yes.
And I have reinvented myself. And now not only am I called the Queen of Hope, I give other people hope. And now I know it's my time for my voice to be heard, not only in the written word, but verbally and speaking here, like on podcasts or speaking events. Whoever needs to hear my voice, I know God will put me in those places. And I'm
Yes.
willing. So that's the other thing. Don't play small. Just say, don't think I can't do that, or, I'm not qualified, because I love
Right.
that that saying about God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies
Oh,
the called.
the called. Yes. Yes. Love
Yes.
it. But Laura, I know how helpful you are to the people, in your community, and these you've had these life changes and courses that help people because you've been through the rough and you've been through the tough and you've been low, and now look at you, and now you are teaching others that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. So I really like those programs because you are giving people the hope that you needed when you were down.
Yes. So not only in the books I've written, because that will help people, but beyond my book, I do teach classes and I have courses. Some are still in development stage, but I actually have some things in place now that will help people. But also,
Yes.
I
Also.
know there's people, as you know, that I know my gift and my passion is writing. So I get
Mhm.
to help other people who have a story and a message to share.
Yes.
And I can interview the book out of people and ghostwrite their story. And then I know a good publisher that can take
Yes.
it to the
That's a
publisher.
talent. And a lot of people need that. Many people say, I want to write a book, but I don't want to write the book.
Right.
So that's a talent, that's a gift, that's a service that you can share with the world.
Definitely. And that if there's anybody out there that thinks, oh, I don't have a story or it's not important, yes, it is.
It is.
Just there's no doubt. Just yes, it is. And
Yeah.
reach out to people like me and Denise, and we can see where you're at and what services you need and how we can help. So at this
Yeah.
point, I serve mostly authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs. I help them create and repurpose their content, and also if
Yes.
book if they want a book, that's the ghostwriting part, but also even just content for blogs or social media, or maybe they want to create workbooks or take their speeches, their audios, their videos, and repurpose those so we can figure out ways to create that and get it out there.
You
And
are busy.
yes,
You are
so
busy, Lori. That's a beautiful thing that you can help so many people along their journey of making their dreams come true. That's beautiful. Now tell us a little bit about little Lori. What was she like?
Oh my goodness. Little Lori was, I was known, my mother always called me quiet little Lori. Oh, and
Mm.
here's something. Here's something most people don't know. Is she called me poor Lori. And then I realized later in life, I'm like, wait, I know she didn't mean to, but I'm like, what do you mean
Mm-hmm.
poor Lori?
No,
It's like
child,
maybe
don't call
that's
me
why I
that.
was stuck in a financial deficit, in financial lack for a part of my life. And then
And then you
poor,
have to change your name.
I
Yep.
know. And then, also it was like, oh, poor you, like the self pity, the sympathy. And so that created limiting beliefs about myself. And, not to,
Mm.
want to say I loved my mom. She was a great mom while she was alive and did the best she could. But it shows how words have power, and what you speak
Mm.
over other people, but especially what you speak over yourself and what you believe about yourself,
Yes.
can either create great consequences and results or not so much. But even if it's in a
Yep.
negative way, being aware of that, and like you said, then changing that story, changing those words, speak life over yourself, learn what God has to say about you
Yes.
and his purpose for you, for a hope and a future, like in Jeremiah 29:11, one of my favorite verses.
Mm-hmm.
And he's our
But
daddy.
you said something, very real. If you recognize, or when you recognize that the words that have been spoken over your life is not what you want, you can start to use positive affirmations and reprogram your brain, because yes, your subconscious is just going to go wild and take everything literal. So if you say poor Laurie and you think, oh, I'm a little poor Laurie, then that little girl is going to get stuck like you were until you started to do the mindset work, until
You
you were
know what else?
exposed to believing in yourself and believing in reprogramming your mind.
The other thing I realized is because of the environment I was in growing up, and I had, I was thankful I had a home and a family before my parents got divorced and all that, and had one older sister. And is going back to the little Lori who loved to swing on her swing set and swim in the pool and ride her bicycle. That was great. And we got to travel every year. My dad planned a family trip. So that, I think, inspired my passion for travel as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, all those little things that, I heard, some from mom and just the environment
Mm-hmm.
in general, it made me feel heavy. It
Yeah.
affected my energy level. I felt tired, or just maybe the worst thing plays a factor, like, you know, who am I? What do I have to offer the world? And, I just don't
Yeah.
interrupt. So I learned to just be quiet and felt invisible. And yet I love that all the lessons I learned along the way,
Yes.
that's okay. That's all those things, all those experiences made me who I am today, knowing now I have the power to change my words, to change my environment, and to know my worth and my identity is in Christ. So
Yes.
that's huge. Once
So
you realize that, it
you
shifts things.
yeah, you've shifted. You have, looked deep into yourself, realized that those things that were assigned to you, they no longer served you. You knew
Right.
better. And so you decided, you know what, I quit that life and I want a different life. I quit being poor, I want a different life. And it's a mindset thing, because once you decide that that's no longer acceptable, everything changes. Everything changes. It doesn't even take that long for things to change. It may take a long time for you to get to the financial goals, but the minute you decide that I no longer want that, the decisions you start to make, the opportunities that you desire starts to come, and then it's up to you with the new mindset to say yes, 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 I want that, I'm going after that, and let God do the rest. Because a lot of times too, we get the opportunity to do something and we're like, well, I want to say yes to that, but I don't know where I'm going to get the money from. Well, if God put it in your way, let him figure it out. Let him figure out how you're going to get to the finances to do this. You know, like we get so many opportunities, but we hinder ourselves because we figure that we are responsible for every step of the way when it's not. God is responsible. So, yes, he put things in your way, and you have to go back to him and say, okay, so you're going to show me all that? Show me the money.
And what I really love is that from going where I didn't like my name, and I thought, ugh, and the poor Lori, it's like that that's no longer, because when Les helped me create, and the Lori factor was born and create those points,
I
it
was in
gave,
that class. I
yes,
was in that class when Les Brown changed your name. Your name is the same, but he made you see yourself differently. Not poor Laurie.
right.
Now your name means so much more.
Yes, it gave
Wow.
my name a new meaning. And not
Yes.
only that, again, it's not just about me and my name, it's how my name and that message can help other people have, the larger vision of themselves and the LORI and what it stands for. Because
Yes.
recently, I was talking to, I don't know, some business branding type of guy, the Lori
Hmm.
factor. Well, that sounds egotistical and it's all about you. And I thought,
Oh,
what?
he said that?
Yes. And I thought, wait a minute, because that's not how I saw it at all. It gave me a new meaning to my name, not as an ego trip, but
Mm,
as a message to share with people, that to show them, to relate, doesn't matter what their name is, but to take that and to say, hey, you have something special too. You have greatness in you. And here's
yes.
where I am, and here's where I am now. And come on, I can help you too. It's to serve
Yes.
others. So that was kind of
Especially the way he set that up. It's really saying it's not about me, it's how I can serve you.
absolutely.
And you should be proud of your name, and because your name is an incredible, very important part of your identity.
Yes,
So thinking about how you can use yourself and your name to serve others, that's deep.
it is.
And it changes everything and all the history that was behind the name. Yeah, there are some things that you just can't change, but the fact is that you were once called Poor Laurie, and now your name means so much more. That's a big deal. And we can always look at this example to say, change your name. If you don't like anything about yourself, about your name, you don't have to change your name, but change how you see your name, change the definition that you
Mhm.
associate with your name, and change how you present yourself so that you're no longer seeing yourself in the darkness of what overshadows that name, but in the light of what that names bring to the world.
Yes, because it gave me a new perspective, a new way that I view myself and the way I
Yes.
see myself. So I'm like, oh wow, I can help others who are stuck and felt unlovable or unworthy or keep sabotaging themselves. It's like, hey, I used to be there too, but
Mm-hmm.
here's how I got to where I am now. And I was so excited that I got to go to a local place yesterday called the Hope Center. I'm like, oh, how perfect is that? And they help kids. They have a literacy program teaching kids how to read. So I donated actually both my children's books. And I felt that was a way to serve and give those people hope. And that was exciting. So just also, that's the other thing, stepping out, figuring out where can you show up. Just
Yes, to
show up there.
serve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Just like you came out to serve this world with your book. Well, tell us, why did you write a book?
So going back to my first book, Oh my goodness, there's a story. Me, storyteller, writer. Yes,
That's
it all
right. We love it. Bring it.
I know so many people. This girl's got some stories. Yes, I do. So I always loved to write. Even as a kid, I would journal, keep a diary, all of that. And from there, when my kids were in public school till I homeschooled, I would write the teachers a personalized poem every year and frame it and give it as a gift and read it in the classroom. And one of my older son's kindergarten teacher still has that framed in her house all these years later. So that is exciting that that really touched their hearts and to
Mhm.
personalize that. So from there, my first book called Whole to Whole, HOLE to WHOLE, Journey to Hope and
Mhm.
Transformation, that really launched me into writing a book. And the reason that book was born is another defining moment on the stage of Gary Cox at his, I can't remember the name of his actual event right now, but Gary Cox, Coxe, if you've never heard of him, he invited me onto his stage. And at first he thought, there's some people that love to stay in their misery. And I'm like, what? It's like, no, I came here for a breakthrough.
Yes.
I knew it. I just showed up. I was there for a breakthrough. Thankfully, my son was my advocate. And he's like, listen, you need to hear my mom's story. So I ended up on his stage, which was brave and courageous to even be willing to do that. But there I
Yeah.
was. And he's interviewing me, asking me, well, what do you like to do? And what are your dreams? And I said, I always wanted to be a published author. I love to write. He's like, okay. Then he asked me more questions, which I don't remember specifically, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the relationship I was in at the time was toxic. And he said,
Mm.
do you realize you're in a toxic relationship? And I said, are you sure? Like, I didn't want to believe it. I love this guy, and yet that's the first, after that, I learned what the term narcissist meant. Didn't have a clue prior
Mm.
to that. But that was another defining moment on Gary's stage when he said, are you ready to make a change? Are you going to let go of that, or are you going to keep doing what you're doing? So it was
Mm.
decision time. And I had,
It hadn't even dawned on you that this was not you, this is a toxic relationship. I need to get out of it.
there were probably clues, but I held on to hope. I held on to like
Yes.
believing it'd be better. But no, it took somebody like Gary to say,
That was a defining moment in your
oh,
life.
huge, huge. So that defining moment, and when he asked me, are you ready to keep going the way you're going, or do you want to make a change? Well, I don't know what rose up in me, but some kind of courage just came up. And I had a notebook in my hand and I threw it on the stage and I go, all right, I'm done. He's like, okay, you ready to make a phone call? I go,
Oh,
right now? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, whoa.
I wasn't saying I was ready.
Yeah, but it's like I knew him. Like, if I don't do it now, I won't do it.
It's now or never.
So I called him up and I just talked to him at the lunch break saying, oh my gosh, and he goes, don't worry, we'll work it out. And I thought, thing is, I've heard that before and nothing's
Mm,
changed.
yes.
So I made that phone call. He told the audience, shh, everybody be quiet. And I had the courage to say, we're just not healthy for each other anymore. And I thank you for all I've learned, but we need to just be done.
Oh, wow.
And he thought I had somebody else. I'm like, no, I have me.
Yep.
I
Yep. I found somebody
finally,
else. I found me.
yes, I
Yes.
finally loved myself enough to let
Mm,
go. And it
yes.
hurt. It hurt. deep.
Yes.
And it took a while to heal, but
So
that's
that's why
when,
you write that first book.
that's what I was just going to say. Because then
Mm,
on that stage, when that was over,
whole.
then my son, remembering the moment, my son
That's
and daughter-in-law were there. And then when I did it and I hung up and it was done, they came on stage and we all, and Gary too, all in a big group hug. And don't they play the song, Mandisa song, Overcomer? And I was like, wow, talk about a defining moment, a
Oh
breakthrough,
wow.
took radical action, that radical change. And I knew prior to that to book an extra week to stay after the event. And at the time, I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Then I knew why, because I was typing, and that's when
Ooh,
that first book poured
was
out of me.
born. Ah,
hmm So
it
from there,
was
it's
like
like
a
now,
healing process to just get it out.
yes. And now when I keep trying to put my book on the shelf, whichever book it is, it's like, no, because then it didn't feel right not to write. So I
Yeah.
know that's part of not only for my own healing journey, but to help others on their healing journey and to give their message and their story to the ears that are waiting to hear. And that's just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like from the heart, because everybody talks about mindset. Oh, you got to get your mind right. Well, that's true, but we speak, our thoughts and words come from what's in our heart. So you got to get your heart right first.
Helped you
And then,
get your heart, get your heart right. Because just the act of writing is just letting it out, just pouring
yes.
it on paper. And it is so cathartic to write because, and I'm telling you guys to try. Just get a journal and try writing out your feelings. Don't even make the aim to write a book. Just make the aim or have the intention to write, just to get out what you're feeling on paper because it is cathartic to write, but it's the act of just letting it all go on paper that is the healthy part of it. That is part of the healing journey. Just having your consciousness spill out on paper.
And
And
ideally, pen to paper, like I know you probably
oh,
know this too, not just typing it out. There's something about the connection, having that pen or pencil in your hand and on
yes.
actual paper. There's a special.
Releasing. Yes. You feel like you're actually putting it all on that paper. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. You're amazing. So what made you write the book that I published? I know I'm stuck there because I want you to talk about that too, because that's the book that
Yes.
is available also on your website. So I really want people to know about this book because this book is powerful, guys. And I saw the journey that Laurie went through when before she wrote this book. I met, knew her. I saw her in this class that I was in, and then she just became a total different person during the journey of writing this book. And I see the change. So I want you to talk about why did you write that book?
So that was, I'd say, the inspiration and motivation and message that came directly from Les Brown. He's like, people need to hear your story. So when he outlined basically and defined the LORIs, like, now you can write a book, you can create a course, maybe you'll even have a retreat, but
Ah,
people need to hear the message. So I felt like it was my next level. And
mm-hmm.
he had a course, which called Power Voice. So I feel like I developed my power voice by writing this book and then knowing I can also be a speaker as well. So now starting to have a few speaking engagements and being on podcasts and so forth is another way to let people know who I am, what I have,
Yes.
and how it can help them. So I just
Get your
believe,
message out there. Yes.
so I believe writing this book was again another level of my own healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
And also seeing myself differently, and sharing the resources and the things I did to get myself in a better place, physically,
Yes.
emotionally, spiritually, all areas of my life, financially, every area of my life. I needed to share, here's how I did it. Maybe some of this will help you too. And that then I became a different person after writing this book. Like
Mm-hmm.
it really, it's like, wow.
You became a different person while you were writing this book. I saw the
Yes.
transition. I saw the changes. I saw the growth. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. You totally evolved. And a lot of times people that we're surrounded with, they try to hold us back because, you know, they know you, they know what they know about you. But when you're going through these changes, when you're going through these learning experience and this building of yourself where you've dug deep, you've excavated, you've dug so deep down that changes you. Just digging deep into your own life, seeing what you're all about, and then deciding, you know what, I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm
right.
going I'm going to be the person that I want to be. I'm going to design my life. That mindset, it changes you. Just thinking like that alone is change life changing.
And that brings to mind one of my favorite quotes. There are many from Les Brown, of course, of don't let other
Is
people's
he your favorite
opinions.
person or not?
I know, right? Well, he's my favorite person. I have many of favorite quotes from him, is what I wanted to say.
Yes,
And
because you
one of
love
them
him.
is don't let other people's opinions of you become your reality. I didn't say that exactly right, but you get the idea.
Yes, that's
And
yeah.
that's what I had been doing, is what other people's opinions of me or what they said. I thought that was truth, and I let it become my reality for a time, especially when one public figure told me at an event, "Oh, don't write a book. Nobody will read it." And
Oh,
he worked for a man who is author of, like, I don't know, it's got to be about 88 books. I'm like, wait a minute. So then I had to step back and say, just because of his title and his position and what he said, does that make it true? So I just wrote an article about, the question was, what's the worst advice you've ever gotten, and did you
ah,
follow it? In fact, so here's a great story. Is That's the story that came to mind. So I wrote this article about when that man told me, don't write a book, nobody will read it. Did I follow that advice? Obviously not.
no,
And
that's
so that
right.
article that I submitted was part of a contest in a magazine, and
Yes.
I won. I recently got the notification, you won this month's writing contest.
Oh
So
my
there
good.
you go. And so that story and sharing that moment and using that quote gave great results. And then more people will see that and hopefully give them hope, saying, oh, okay.
You did not let that other person define you. And
Right.
so it's hard. It's hard to not let other people define you. But when you know better, you do better.
Yes.
You could easily sit down and say, okay, what they said. But you said, you know what? They are not going to define me. I'm going to refine me.
Yes.
Okay? They don't define me. I refine me. You look deep into what you have already and say, I'm going to just brush up on these skills. I'm going to learn more about something. There's no excuse for us to want to become someone or want to do more and not do it in this age, because you can learn anything you want in this day and age without having to pay. You can actually access education online for free. So you can refine yourself. Don't let other people define you. You refine you. You define you and refine you. Ooh, I gotta write that down because I
That's good.
love it. Sounds like it's gonna catch on. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Who are the people? I know Les Brown, but who are some of the three? Who are the three most influential people in your life?
as far as personally and professionally.
Yes.
So near and dear to me, of course, and my son Joseph and my daughter-in-law
Mm,
Stephanie,
yes.
because oh my gosh, that's like my inner circle, you know.
Yes.
And my cheerleaders, my support system, just everything. We've been through a lot together, and I love that we can stay connected and encourage one another. So
Yes.
that's huge. Um, then, of course, author
So we're
wise,
counting them as one. We're counting
yes,
them as one.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And John C. Maxwell, and I'm going to get to meet him pretty soon. So
Oh,
I'm
awesome.
excited about that. And I love his
He's gonna
books.
get to meet you pretty soon.
Oh, well, I love that.
He gets to meet you.
And the thing about John is he talks about leadership. And I never saw myself as a leader. I was more the follower.
Mm-hmm.
The more I listened to him, he said, we're all leaders because leader simply means we have influence.
Yes.
And you don't need to be, a best-selling author to have influence. I mean, as a
No, you
parent, you
don't.
have influence. You're just, as a person, you have influence, so you can influence and impact lives no matter who you are, what you do, wherever you are in life. So then I thought, okay. And I remember learning lead yourself well. And that's
Mm-hmm.
a journey that I have to keep reminding myself because I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to do better there. But to not beat myself up about it, just to be aware and say, oh, okay,
Exactly.
what could I do differently next time?
Yes. Yes.
Because that's I
Don't
was
beat
in that.
yourself up about it. I like that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because I was an expert at that. It's like,
Yes.
oh, what's your expertise? Let's see. Self-sabotage, procrastinating, beating
That was
myself
one
up.
time.
It's like, but no, not anymore. So
What do
see,
you know? What do you call yourself now? What do you, because you used to call yourself those things, but what are the words that you use to describe yourself and motivate yourself now? If someone were to ask you, say, hey, who are you? How would you describe yourself now?
well, first and foremost, daughter of the Most High,
Mm.
and because apart from Him, I can do nothing. So
Amen.
that puts the power behind the meaning of my life and my message
Yes.
and how to serve others. And thanks to N.A. Obey, she first called me Queen of Hope.
Oh,
I love that because my story is about hope. In my book, if I had to say one word, it's about giving people hope. So, hope.
yes.
And so
Yes.
I gladly step into that role of Queen of Hope.
Yes.
And I do see myself as a leader because I have a lot of resources as far as even services or products or different ways to help people in all areas of their life.
Mm-hmm.
So that means, you know, I am a leader. I can show people, I could teach people. That's what came to me even just yesterday. I think,
Uh-huh. You sound so excited. She's like, wait a minute.
yeah, the Hope Center gave me hope because I saw myself too as a teacher. So
Mm-hmm.
educator, and my son years ago told me, Mom, you're a good teacher. And that's when I was homeschooling, but yet he's told me that throughout the years, different times as well. So like teacher, that resonates with
Hmm.
me. So
So
I have a
you've really redefined yourself, and that's beautiful.
yes.
And that's something I'm going to encourage the audience to do. Write down what you want to be called. If you're not happy with what people are calling you, or you're not happy with how people see you, change how you see yourself by doing your morning affirmations, honey. When I do mine, I say, I am this, I am that, I am strong, I am ambitious, I am unstoppable. And you define who you are. You define who you are. Just say it over and over and over. And once you start to repeat that on a daily basis, Oh, you start to believe it and you start to become it. Lori
Yes.
said she started to tell herself that she was hope. She was queen of hope, and that's because somebody may have said that to you, and it it resonated with you, and you're like, wait a minute, but I am hopeful. I think I am the queen of hope.
In fact, I
That's
took that to the
beautiful.
next level. Oh, about a
Mm-hmm.
month or so ago, I was on a speaker panel at a local health and wellness event, and I someone told me my name meant, how did that go? Laurels, like crowned with
Hmm.
crowned with laurels. So it made me think of crown. Well, queens wear crowns. So I even got a
Mm-hmm.
little. I almost wore it today, and then I decided it was maybe.
What, a tiara?
Yeah, well, like a little, headband that looks.
Queen is in the house.
Yeah, so that was good for the speaking engagement and to tell people about my book and the Queen
I
of
love
Hope.
props.
Yeah,
So yeah, I love
yeah,
props. That's your prop when you're on stage.
that's a good idea. I did it that day.
Yes,
It just came to me an
just
idea, so I went with it. So
make it a signature. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it.
yes,
It's just beautiful to sit and talk with you again, Laurie. You're just
me
amazing. I
too.
love you. If you could have coffee with anyone in the world,
Mm,
past or present, who would it be?
wow. Well, there's a few, but
All
but I
right.
know.
Let's name two.
So Sly, Rocky,
Oh,
Sylvester
from
Stallone,
okay.
because he's so encouraging and just wow. Something about his voice too, just I'd love to meet him someday.
Mm, write it down. You never know what God have in store for you. Who
I
else?
remember him finding a picture of him I put on my vision board years ago.
This
So,
is Rocky. Okay.
uh-huh.
What are you guys going to talk about it with over coffee? Let me know.
I just was always fascinated with how he just kept getting up. Because he
Hmm.
says it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up again. I don't know if that's a direct quote from him, but I just remember associating
He said
that
that.
with him in all his movies. And
Your favorite guy said that also often. Les
well,
Brown.
then I'm like, I know he's not the only one because
When life knocks you down, fall on your back. Because
try to
if you
land on
can
your back. Because if
try to
you can
land
look
on your
up,
back,
you can get up.
you can get. And it's so true, guys. No matter what's going on, if you can look up, you can get up. There is hope. Look around you. Sometimes there are people right near you, right next to you that God has placed. Sometimes it's just an Uber driver, but it's somebody that God has put in your place so that you can look up, find that hope and
And
inspiration.
speaking of Les, he would be another one I'd love to have coffee with. And
Uh-huh. Put it out there.
I'm finally going to get to meet him in Dallas this month. Well, no, it's not September quite yet. In September. So I have that opportunity, and I'm believing for access. It's so that he can meet what he helped me create, me in person, the book
Yeah.
in hand, and that how much to thank him of the value he's added in my life.
Tremendous. Yes. I have three questions that I just love to ask all of my guests. And it's because I like to find out more about them. Number one is, what is one bold promise that you can share with the world that you know will help them live a better life?
Let's see, a bold promise is you definitely need to know your value, know your worth, know your identity. So that boils down to believe in yourself.
Yes.
And if you don't yet believe in yourself, take my belief in you,
Yes.
so that everybody does have purpose, they have value, and it's meant to be shared.
That's powerful. If you don't believe in yourself, take my belief in you. That's beautiful. So write that down, guests. What is a bold statement you can share with your audience that you know will cause a paradigm shift?
Paradigm shift.
Mm-hmm.
Decide. Make a
Ooh,
decision.
I'm
You
done. That was good.
you do have choices, even if it doesn't look like you do. You
Yes,
just need to decide.
that's
Hey,
powerful. Make a decision and stick with it. If it
and
do- if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You have now, made a decision, and the experience from doing it will give you, a better platform to move forward and make a different plan.
well, and to add to that is basically what you said is my dad always told me, just make a decision, right or wrong, just make one. If it's the wrong one, just make another one. So
Yes,
yes,
yes, I
make
love
a
it. I
decision,
really like
take
that.
action. Yes.
That's a big paradigm shift right there. Up in here, you're getting all the gems. Okay. All
Mhm.
right. Last question. What's a bold move that you'd like to make in the future?
Bold
This when I
move.
get this is when I get to see what you're up to.
To finally put it out there and get the in front of the people, and as you were talking about not so long ago, to be in the proximity and surround
Mm,
myself with the people who are looking for what I have to offer. And
yes.
I have a lot to offer. Some is still in the development stages, but to really have the conversations with the people who are ready to invest in themselves and possibly invest in me and see how what I have could help them.
Yes.
So, and that
You
looks like, books, classes, courses, speaking, even actual how I, the big other thing with me is the emotional factor. Because as
mhm.
Gary Cox says, if your feelings don't line up with your goals, ignore your feelings. But then there's the other side of that is how do you have, I don't want to say the word control, but
Mhm.
yet kind of rein them in because we
Yeah.
can't just live by our feelings because then we're all over the place. So I found ways to help me with that, like natural solutions, and that even help with my writing and in my spiritual journey. So I have
Mhm.
so much to teach and to show and to share for people that are looking for that kind of thing.
Have you ever been to a garden, and in the garden you see butterflies and bees? Have you ever been to a place where, the butterflies just keep pouring in?
Well, there's actually a butterfly sanctuary near Niagara Falls, which isn't too far from me. So that brought me to that place of the beautiful plants and butterflies.
Mhm. So, I say that because we have the same ability that the garden has. You see how a garden attracts the butterfly? The garden attracts the butterflies because the garden is just glowing. It has these beautiful flowers that they're permeating with aromas, and these things attract the bees and the butterflies. So, you have so much in you. All you have to do is be you. But in this era that we have, there's a place that you can go every day and be you. And the more people that, get hint of all of the value that you have, the more people you're attracting to you. So there's a book that I'm going to ask you to read. It's called The YouTube Formula by Daryl Eves, Eves. And that book will teach you how to put all of your goodness out there and monetize your message and start making really good money from YouTube. You have so much to offer. So Be you, just glow and put yourself in proximity to people that are attracted to your glow. And that's for you guys out there. This is for everyone. If you have something to offer, you don't have to force it. Just be you, but put yourself, like she said, there is this beautiful place that is curated just for a beautiful garden so that butterflies can come there. That's you. When you build your YouTube channel, or maybe it's your Instagram live, when you start showing people who you are, like you, Lori, you have so much to offer. People are just going to be attracted to you. So do it on a consistent basis so that people know where to come and when to come. And you're just going to grow from here. I charge you to get this book, read this book, and put yourself out there. And when we meet again next year, you're going to be giving me a testimonial. Like, look, girl, you turn me on. Okay. So I'm looking forward to us catching up again. And thank you so much for. I wish we could do this more often, and we should, because it feels so good. You look amazing.
Thank you.
You're
And
glowing.
I just want to say I appreciate you and all your hard work and believing in me and, working with me. And it's just made a whole difference. Otherwise, the Lori Factor book may not have been out and available yet. So I do appreciate you and I thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. How can the audience connect with you?
The best place would be on my link tree, and that's the link tree / the Lori Factor, so LORI. I also have that link on my Instagram, and I'm Lori Bruton Biz, BIZ on Instagram. So those are the best places to see what I have to offer and to connect with me.
You heard it here first. You know where to connect with Lori. She's amazing. You're going to have a life-changing experience with her. And if you know anybody that needs somebody to help them with, the book writing, the things she's mentioned, please connect with her. And if you would like to write a book and publish it, please send me an email at authordnicholson@gmail.com. Thanks so much for joining today. I really appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the Bold Book of the Day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson, or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.